All right, it says that we're live. So welcome everyone to Branding Basics. We are so excited to be bringing this topic to you. Thanks to technical difficulties, we're a little bit behind, but again, we are so excited to be bringing Branding Basics to you tonight. If you have any questions throughout this session, we hope to be on for just an hour, so not too much of your time. But if you have any questions throughout this session, feel free to put them in the comments and we'll try to catch them as soon as we can. And we will have a Q&A at the end for you to ask any questions that you had, any lasting questions. So welcome. My name is Kayleigh Dortch Elliott. I am the founder and CEO of By Grace Not Perfection LLC. And my co-host is
Brianna Baker of Streamline Media Agency, formerly known as Behind the Screen Media, for those of you that knew that.
Yes, so we are so excited again to just be bringing this topic to you, sharing a little bit about our brands and our businesses since we've started them, and just sharing some helpful tips and hopefully being able to hear from you as well. So I will let Brianna start off sharing her brand story and different things that she would like to bring out of her experience to maybe help you as you build your brand.
Yes. Again, thanks so much, Kayleigh, for just having me on. This is so exciting, guys. So my story really starts off as me just having this knack, this gift, if you will, to want to help other people be in the know. I had an experience where I wasn't in the know and I missed out on a great opportunity. So I really charge or push myself to help organizations and individuals really put themselves out there. But initially starting out, I was just doing it freelance, like no payment, just volunteering, really just to help other people get out there. From there, I realized, well, wow, I'm doing all this work for people. I'm actually enjoying myself, but I want this to be more than just a hobby. I really want to make an income as well as an impact. And so that's what led me to do more research. That's what led me to really want to grow in my business. And I went to a conference in Raleigh. I never forget it. It was 2018. And it was a conference about conversations with boss women. And all of these women coming together. I mean, you're talking about a think tank of possibilities, really being able to burst out in the atmosphere. And so I realized after that conference, it was time to birth, at the time, Behind the Screen Media LLC. So I went through the steps to get my LLC. I took some classes online. I even went to local workshops. And here we are today. So I'm just so excited, and I appreciate Kayleigh, and I can't wait to continue on this conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So just a little bit about my business. There was a lot of backstory to BGMP, but I'll start you at when I launched as an LLC in January of 2019, which was last year. I was service-based at the time. So I had different, I wasn't service-based, I was actually product-based. So I had different products, was doing a lot of vending and just trying out different things. And the t-shirts and different things that I had designed myself. The website, just basically everything I had basically designed myself. But at the time I was product-based. So switching to this year, and this was even before the pandemic started, I decided that we knew of, I decided to add services to what I was offering. Again, because most of the media and everything that I had, I was doing myself. So I'm like, I enjoy doing this. And whether it's a product or not, my underlying love is design. And so I was like, why don't I just do this for other people? And so I added different services that included web design, graphic design, just about every form of design you can think of, as well as consulting and just sharing some of the things that I've learned along the way for other entrepreneurs that maybe don't want to outsource, or maybe don't have the resources to outsource and just want to learn how to do it themselves. Or maybe I can be of service to them without them breaking the bank. So I switched to being service-based this year, and it has been amazing. It has been so incredible, and just really honing in on what I really love to do. Because I did enjoy doing the products and different things, and I still have those. But at the end of the day, it was really design that I was passionate about. And so being able to really full on express that and help other clients has just been amazing. So that's a little bit about my brand story. So Bree, can you share a little bit about how you kind of figured out who your target audience would be?
Yeah, that's a good point. Guys, when you start off, you really got to figure out exactly who are you going to work with.
Yeah.
And so for me, I realized I enjoy working with faith-based organizations, civic organizations, and I learned that through trial and error. So at this current time, that's the pain points of those individuals. Churches really want to get themselves out there. New faith-based entrepreneurs and also civic organizations. I was working with an organization locally, and now they are just flourishing and growing. So it all starts off with a seed. You know, one man plants, another man waters, and God provides the increase. So there are some moments where I just come, I help, I move on, and other times I have consistent clientele, but that's how I figured it out.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. How was it transitioning from volunteer work, or like you were saying earlier, from doing everything for free to actually charging? Like, did you have any difficulty with that?
It was me. I was the one making it difficult because you don't want to undersell, but you don't want to oversell, because you want to be sure that the person gets what they pay for. So I did research, and I created my own base rate, and I have since then raised the price, influx.
Yeah.
But yeah, so initially it was kind of like, but then I said, somebody told me, I never forget it. A friend of mine said, Brianna, you have to get paid for your passion.
Yeah, that's good. No, so that's really good.
Yeah.
And I can identify with that. I had the same struggle starting out. My husband laughs all the time because I was vending when I first started out, and I might sell a t-shirt here or there, and I would just try to find the positive in it. Like, at least I, got business cards and we networked, and he's like, we didn't come to network. We came to sell things. So.
Right. We came to go home empty.
Me also. I do attribute it to how I was showing up. You have to be confident in what you're doing and what you're offering and what you're selling. And that makes part of the difference. I won't say it makes all of the difference, but that does play a role. And so it took a while for me to feel comfortable charging. And I actually had a conversation with my mentor, Sharon Sauls, and she helped me out so much. I was like taking notes. Andre was taking notes so he could hold me accountable. Just to charge for your time, because it's not just the webinar, it's not just the product, it's not just the service, but it's also the preparation that you put into it. And I think a lot of times we forget about that, and we'll say, oh, well, it's just an hour segment, I'll just charge a little bit. But then you spent hours on the presentation. You have Zoom or whatever platform that you use. There are different fees that you are maintaining to upkeep your business and to even make sure that webinar, that product, does well. And so you have to charge based off of those things as well. And that gets down to, making a profit, because I wouldn't charge for shipping. There wouldn't be any tax. Like when I was first starting out, it was horrible. And so I was making nothing because people were basically just paying for the product. But by the time I paid for shipping, especially if it was far away, and then like come tax time, like the sales and use tax, and that's just a whole nother conversation. I wasn't making anything. And I'm like, okay, like I have to run this as a business. And so I had to like say no to the, hey, can I get a discount? Or hey, can I get this for free? So I had
you cannot discount this work.
Yes, business boundaries. You have to set business boundaries. But I will say that was one thing that was a challenge for me, just getting out of that mentality. And especially, I can only imagine if you are just serving faith-based organizations, you feel this pressure, like this is my ministry also.
Yes.
So then you're like, I can't charge for ministry. So I can only imagine the difficulty that comes in with that. And I have been able to assist different faith-based organizations as well as others. So I can definitely see how that would be a challenge. I know for me, just I didn't really have a target audience starting out. I feel like it was very general, and even now I feel like it still is pretty general to a degree. And for those who may be just joining us, again, if you have any questions throughout this, please feel free to comment those so that we can answer them during the Q&A session. And thank you for joining us. Again, my mentor, she has been very helpful. She had told me, if you, it's okay if your target audience changes, because I talked to her and I'm like, I don't know if I have a good business, because I feel like I'm targeting everyone, or it just depends on the season. And so she was saying, it's okay for your target audience to change. Like, it will change based off of the need, and you just allow your business to evolve based on that need. And so that was some of the best advice that I think I've been given in terms of target audience, especially when you have a needs-based business, and our businesses are service-based. Right. And so that's considered a needs-based business. So you have to be, willing to allow your business to evolve and to transition if need be. And, once the pandemic hit, it actually helped my business, because people were moving everything online. And so they needed websites, they needed services. And I'm sure you've had the same thing.
Yeah, this year was definitely different, because I ended up with an opportunity to work with a campaign. And so politics is definitely particular. Okay. And so you got to be on point. And I was so making sure I was checking in with the client to ensure that what I put out best represented her and what she was running for. And so that was such a great opportunity. We still in the running, I know we're talking about business, but make sure you go vote.
Plug.
But yeah, so this year has definitely been a switch up for me. I got my life coaching certification. I began to help other people really learn how to work their business. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And it's kind of like pushed service-based businesses kind of to the forefront, which is good. But I will say it's helpful when you have already put in that preparation. That way, when a client does come, you've already prepared. And that's another thing, with branding. I would say don't wait until you have the clients or you have the customers to start working on branding. Branding is very foundational. And I think it's easy to miss that, because you just want to go ahead and have something to offer without establishing, okay, what are my values? What should the brand represent? And those things make up your brand. So how did you come up with just the logo, the feel that you wanted for your brand?
Yeah, when I started out, I was behind the screen media. I told myself, I just want to be behind the screen. I don't really want people to know it's me. I was a little bit shy, but I still want people to know it was me. So I used a caricature. I reached out to a graphic designer, and he used my picture and added my logo, my business name. And so, boom, that was the first one. But once I decided to rebrand myself, I wanted the brand to outlive Brianna. I wanted the brand to be not just centered on me, but centered on the principle of streamlining whatever your business is. And so the current logo, which you guys can go follow that page, is now more streamlined. It looks more professional, and I'm very proud of it. And I'm just excited. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for me, this is giving a little backstory, but by grace, not perfection, before all of the consulting and design started as a blog.
I remember.
I had a
It was
blog.
good.
I had a blog since like middle school. So it's been about 10 years since I had started that blog, and it was called By Grace Not Perfection. And I had ironically somehow, because I was just extra, I had a logo for my blog. I didn't know it was going to turn into a business or anything. Again, like it took a while to really figure out what it was I was trying to get out. Like, I'm doing different things, but just figuring out, okay, what is my passion? And so I kind of carried that logo into 2019 and was like, okay, we're launching with this. And so I had that logo for a while. And even my t-shirts and different mugs had that logo on it. And so once I started the consulting and design, I was like, okay, I think I want to revamp something. And because I had the logo and just the name with my blog for so long, I knew people were used to by Grace Not Perfection, the blog.
Yes.
So I'm like, I need to make a shift, not just for me, but also to those that are used to seeing this brand and have followed it. And I needed to be recognized as By Grace Not Perfection, the business, and also just the writing, the design, the consulting, and all of that in one thing. And so I had come up with the logo with the quill. It's like a quill pen, and it's in a circle. And it's pretty simple. There have been days where I'm like, I don't know if I want to change it to make it, but I'm satisfied with it for right now.
I'm about to say,
I wanted something really simple, and just to express whether it's a book, whether it's my own personal products, or whether it is consulting and design. I just wanted that to be expressed. So that's how I came up with mine. But I do think I was a little intimidated, because when you think of rebranding, I know for me, I felt like if I rebrand, then I've like made a mistake, or what I had before wasn't right. I don't know if you ever felt like that.
I did initially. Okay. I was like, are people going to remember me? Yes. Or are they going to still tag behind the screen media, or are they going to begin
to miss out on clients?
Right. Are they going to talk about Streamline Media? And in the midst of the rebranding, you also reposition. And so you reposition and you evolve.
That's so good.
As you said earlier, you evolve. And so those that was rocking with the original, you can still evolve with the new.
Exactly. So what would you say is your brand message?
My brand message is to provide content strategy to faith-based entrepreneurs and civic organizations to help express their presence and produce profit, and also help them to expand their message to others. So
that is so good. I just love all of that. My brand message is really assisting individuals and businesses, but just mostly just all encompassing entrepreneurs with their brand, network, and professional development. And as well as their, just the personal development is also a thing, because I value, as you do, not just what you're putting out there, but who you are. Because at the end of the day, especially when you're an entrepreneur, typically it's solo. You may have a team, but you got to make sure you're showing up, because you can have the right marketing strategies. You can have, and I'm sure you have seen that with your clients, you can have all of these things and the best programs, best platforms, but you're the one showing up. So you got to make sure that you're okay too.
Your point, exactly.
So I think that's one thing that allows your brand to stand out, and also speaks to a need that people have. I think for me, I try to speak to a need that sometimes we realize that we don't have, like we don't realize that we have, which is that constant pressure to be perfect. And when I was doing the consulting and design, and just even as a business, I'm like, I don't know if By Grace Not Perfection is seen as professional, or that is seen as what it is. Like, I don't think it's specific, it's not like By Grace Not Perfection Consulting or anything like that. And so there were some times where I'm like, I don't know if my name is received by people, by people,
Right.
it limits me to certain people. But I have found that with whatever you do, there is this pressure to be perfect. And so I've coined recently, in a culture that is constantly, encouraging us to hustle, which isn't bad in and of itself. I encourage us to remember grace. So while you're out here putting your work in, while you're out here putting your time in and implementing programs and, really working hard for what you want, also remember grace. And so once it took me really sitting back and reflecting on my business, for me to realize, okay, this is actually meeting a need, more than I think it is. So with Streamline Media, what would you say is one of the biggest needs that you feel that your business addresses or meets?
Being able to give strategic placement to what you're going to post and how your business is actually seen and presented. The reason why I call my business now Streamline Media is because I realize that the focus of anything you do with social media should be streamlined. It should be in an order and in a fashion that people know what you represent. So even in my own business, my representation of being Streamline Media is also representing my clientele and streamlining their message. So I just love I love it. And when I told my husband, he said, "That's it."
Oh. No, it is so creative, and I think it definitely meets a need. So I know one of your biggest, well, I always call you the guru, with social media. So what is something that you would just advise when it comes to establishing your brand? Like, why is social media important? Why do you need it? Why is it necessary? Is it necessary for your brand? What are things that you have learned?
Yeah. Social media is necessary because of engagement, because of global connection and networking, because your audience could be local, but you got to think global.
Absolutely.
And being able to connect on a social media platform, it allows your business to go beyond you. Sometimes you can't go to China. Sometimes you can't go to California, but your business can. And so you want to be able to set that tone again, as I said before, and streamline it. So when people come across your page, they know what you're about. Think about your favorite TV show. Your favorite show comes on maybe, as me and Kaylee were talking, it comes on Wednesdays at 8:00. And
Married at First Sight.
Married at First Sight plug. But when your show comes on at 8:00 on Wednesdays, you pretty much organize or try to set aside that time. Sometimes you don't, but most of the time you do. And so when you think about it in perspective of your business, what day and time are you posting? What day and time are you going live? Because you want people to look for you. So you want to be able to have that desire coming from the clientele. And you also want to set that tone that you can find me at these hours, or you can come look for me on this page, and all of your platforms look the same, or maybe you have a similar profile picture, etc. So setting that tone of consistency and networking. I love Zoom. I love these different platforms that allow you to stream. So that you can reach people beyond just your phone, just whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. What would you say is I love that analogy, first of all. That's an amazing analogy. What would you say is your favorite social media platform?
Ooh, no, she didn't.
I did.
Honestly, I really love Facebook. One of my students told me Facebook is for older individuals. I said, well, your teacher's older. But but seriously, I love Facebook. It was the foundation. Like, Facebook was the ones to create Instagram and all that. But my thing is, Facebook sets the business aspect to me. That's why I think they created the Facebook ads, Facebook groups.
Exactly.
They wanted you to create a culture on Facebook and community. Now, Instagram is for the people that just want to say, hey, I went to Cali, hey. But the hashtags allow, again, that global reach. Because hashtags on Facebook not as strong. But Twitter, there's something there.
Yeah. And Pinterest.
And we talked about that. Yeah, Pinterest. Guys, I don't know what your business is, but I want you to get your business on Pinterest.
Yes, you don't even got to have a strategy yet. Just make one and set it
up.
Look,
just pin it.
Yeah. Yes, no, I got on Pinterest earlier this year in terms of my business. I've been on Pinterest forever. But in terms of the business, I got on it, earlier this year, and it has been amazing. Yes. Just the exposure, and no, you might not have people commenting or different things, but at least you're gaining exposure. I would say I definitely enjoy Facebook for business. Yeah. I really enjoy it. And I think one thing that makes Facebook stand out, like Instagram is very picture oriented, which is good. But I think there's less pressure to have a certain aesthetic on Facebook. And also, I think people pay a lot more attention to the words, like to what you're actually saying.
Yeah.
And that's what I value. So I do enjoy, I tend to I get engagement on Instagram, but it looks as if I'm not getting engagement on Facebook, but literally 95% of my website visitors come from Facebook.
There you go.
So it's very
They're watching.
They definitely are watching, but I would say that Facebook probably, hey. But I will say that I have definitely enjoyed Facebook so far. So I would agree with you. How long would you say it takes to build a brand?
I'm telling you, it takes some time. Yeah. It's like my music teacher, Mr. Charles Richburg, I gotta shout him out. He always told us Rome was not built in a day. And I want people to recognize that your business, for it to have longevity, cannot be built in 30 days or whatever timeline you think. You can always give yourself milestone checkpoints. But always strive to be better and better and better.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. I don't believe there's 5 steps to build your brand in 10 weeks. I don't think, because you can build it and then something will come up. You just never know. So I think that's also just, it goes back to being flexible with your brand, being open to it evolving and changing and rebranding and looking different than what you originally started out with. And that doesn't mean that you didn't have a good business idea to start with. It just changed. Maybe the target audience changed, or maybe the need changed. So definitely making sure that you're being flexible with your brand.
And talking about change, it just made me think about a caterpillar. Initially we're crawling, but we have to go into the cocoon and we have to metamorphose to this next thing. And so when you come out with your new thing, you just got to recognize, like, I was crawling, but now I'm flying.
Yeah, it's a totally different season for you.
Yeah.
You definitely have to be open. You definitely have to be open to that. So you're the social media guru. I wouldn't consider myself a guru, but I specialize in websites and and graphic design. So when it comes to websites, I will say how websites really enhance your brand. For one, it's like, I consider it the home of your brand. Like, if you don't have a website, your brand is kind of low key homeless. You don't have a landing page where people can go, and I consider your website to be the home of your brand. And rather than having multiple links to so many different places, you have that one place that people can go. And so I value I put so much energy and effort into my website, because that's really, you can build an email list. You can have all of your services, your products, things that it's a lot more personable than social media accounts.
For sure.
And everybody can find, different things there. You can showcase whatever you want. Like, some of the social media accounts, they might limit what you can share or how much you can share, or the word limit or something like that, but you can be absolutely free on your website. So I would say, for one, email lists are very helpful when it comes to your brand. you can easily build a following there. And some people, they have bigger email lists than they do followers. And I think a lot of times we chase for followers, but it's not one-on-one interaction. And when we get into algorithms and things like that, they may not even be seeing your post at all. Versus you grab an email address, it's old school, but I love it. You grab an email address and you can send it directly to their inbox, and you would actually be surprised how many people are open to receiving emails.
Yeah. And I think that's so essential, because it's just like old school writing a letter. You know, instead of that, email is really getting to know the person. And if Facebook and Instagram shut down and all the other people shut down,
you still got an email address.
You still got an email. You still got some money coming in.
Yes. No, absolutely. So email lists are very, very beneficial. And I would say you don't have to have anything too fancy. Start out with what you have, but that will help you. Like when you have a new product or new something, you can guarantee that they will see what you have to offer, because you know you sent them an email. Another thing is you can have a blog. You can blog about your business. And that, you know, that can keep people posted with what you're doing, and just another way for you to express yourself creatively. But yeah, subscribers, email list, blog. There are so many different features on websites that are so beneficial to your brand. And I just love it because you can add whatever pictures, like you have your about page so people can learn more about you, versus like on social media, they have to scroll to like, let me introduce myself to my followers. You know, if you have a brand, you feel like you have to keep reintroducing yourself. When you can just direct people to your website, and you can have your interviews, your press and your media. So, you know, if you've had an interview or something, you can add that to your website. It's like your one-stop shop for everything. Exactly. Yeah. So I would say if you can get a website, there are free options. You may not have your own domain, but I would say just get started with what you can until you can get exactly. Even if you don't have your personal domain, just start out with the free option, and at least have a landing page for your business. Because when people search your social media and different things, one of the first things they're going to go to is your website link, whatever you have in that link box. And people will try to find ways to stay connected with you, because not everyone is always on social media. So they might not know the new product or service that you're offering, or the new event or something like that. And you can offer freebies, downloads, you know, for your email subscribers. So you can make it very creative depending on what your business is. But I would say, as you're establishing your brand, please consider having a website of some sort. Even if you don't want the paid version, at least it can be a one-page website. Just start out with what you have, and you can be very creative. And I think you have to take into consideration not just the functional benefits that you're offering customers and clients, but also the emotional. I don't know if it's just because I'm emotional, but I really think about like how do I want people to feel when they encounter my brand. That doesn't mean when they encounter your social media, it literally every form of interaction, even if like me having this conversation with you, and likewise we're encountering each other's brands. Right. Yeah, like every interaction. Yes, every interaction is a form of branding. And so it's like, how do you want people to feel? And that will help you choose your colors. That'll help you choose the different you know, content that you post is based off of how you want people to feel. And at the end of the day, that's what's going to matter to people. How you made them feel. How you made them feel. Yeah. So you can have great products and different things, but customer service is so important. So make sure that you're recognizing that the brand is not just attached to your website or your social media strategy. It's also attached to you. Like you are a walking brand. You have to be that. Be whatever that is, service-based, product-based. I mean, if you are a speaker, you know, sometimes you got to encourage yourself, you know, as you're speaking to others, you're speaking to yourself. And again, like Kaylee said, I do want to kind of tap on that topic of self-care. Self-care and entrepreneurship is very essential, because you walk this walk alone, and you do need to have that community. You do need to have that woosah time.
And just to put a business plug, create a schedule, whereas your posts are going out while you can kind of stay in. You can get you right, but your business still keeps going. So that's a little quick business tip there. Post ahead, schedule ahead.
Yes, no, absolutely. That's so helpful. Aside from scheduling, what is something else that you maybe would offer someone who struggles with being consistent on social media?
Yeah, outside of scheduling, I would also say be honest. Work with your flow that you have, because in order to set that consistency, you have to first recognize, what am I willing to commit to? Am I willing to commit to a week or daily, monthly? You begin to assess your own schedule, your own life. And, if you do have to post randomly at first until you get that flow. But again, what can really help you also is when you create your business pages, whether it's business Facebook or Instagram, it allows you to get analytics in the back office, which show you when people are really following or looking. And you can take that info and help to build consistency from there too.
Yeah, absolutely. What are some of the free resources that have been most helpful to you?
Okay, I love Buffer for scheduling. I love to use Canva.
Oh,
and
yes.
I also utilize, it's free, but in order to get that little logo off, you got to pay InShot.
Okay.
I love InShot to pull together some cute short video clips. So those are my top 3 right there. What about you?
I love Canva. Just everything about Canva. There's also an app called Mojo.
Ooh.
And that is good for like Instagram stories and different like video. Like if you see the fancy Instagram photos that people have like typing and different things. That's Mojo. Yep, I just plugged it. Yep, I just put you on all the way on. That's it. Like, like
I
when
hope
people
you
are
guys
typing,
caught that.
or it looks like they're writing in cursive. Yep, that's Mojo. And what you can do is when you download it, which they do have certain features that are locked until you like pay for it, but it's not expensive either. You can actually just make it to where you can even just post it as a square photo. It doesn't even have to be your it'll probably be sized as a story, but you can always like crop it, so you can use it for anything. But yeah, that's Mojo. Is Mojo, Mojo. And it's an app, and that's good for videos, just short clips. I know I was using it for my podcast for a season and had like the phone pop up. I screen recorded the podcast episode and had the phone pop up. So it has different features. It has things for like if you have an online store, they have fashion options. They have so many different things. So I would definitely encourage you to check out Mojo. But I would say those are 2 of the most helpful for me. Oh, did you know Canva actually has a content planner now? Yeah, I can't remember if that's just for the free version or if you have to have the paid version, but they have a content planner now, so you can like schedule your posts, and that includes Pinterest too, and they'll go ahead and distribute it for you. So
Canva is just all the things.
Canva is like the Amazon of design.
There you go. I like that.
Yes, like owning everything.
You should just tag them. Tag them on that one.
Yes. Are there any other branding tips that you would offer someone based off of your experience? Maybe something that you wish someone would have told you when you got started.
Yeah, I wish somebody would have told me that you have to really learn yourself, learn your messaging, learn what you are going to do. Remember how you mentioned earlier about how, you initially started off with products and then you moved into services. And so you assessed yourself and what you were going to bring to the table. And so you don't allow people to create something at the table. you tell them what you're going to serve.
Okay.
So, so you have to really set the tone of this is what I do. This is not what I do. And so that's something I had to learn for myself, like really setting the tone. This is Streamline.
Yeah, that is so good. And I agree with that. I actually had one client, I think she was actually asking me about, because she was one of my web design clients and she was asking about social media. And I told her, because she was asking if I offered it. And I said, honestly, no, that is not my strong point. And you have to be okay doing that. You have to be okay knowing what you offer, what you don't offer, and not feeling like you're going to miss out or lose anything, because you want to bring your best self. You want to bring your best work to your client or customer. So what I did was, no, I don't, but I have a friend, and I referred them to you. So definitely make use of your business connections. Like when you are branding, really establish what you do and what you don't do. What you're good at and what you're not good at. Like I can make the graphics for you to share on social media. I can't tell you anything about the best time to post and what platform you need to post. I just be posting. So that's not my expertise. So you have to know what you're good at, what you're not good at, and offer what you are good at to your clients, and know that the people that need that particular service will come to you. But not doing anything out of fear of losing a client, because then if you don't do a good job at it, then that turns into a negative review and, a bunch of things that could have been avoided. So I definitely agree, like assessing yourself is so important. And being okay with that, because I look at, okay, no matter what I'm doing, what is the bottom line? And that is creativity. That's creativity for me. And so it's like, whether I'm podcasting, it brought like unity to everything that I was doing. Because I could see at the end of the day, the underlying value of By Grace Not Perfection, whatever it is creativity. So no matter what I'm doing, I'm bringing my creative self to it. And it brings clarity. So then you're not second guessing or comparing your brand to someone else's brand. I think that's a whole nother topic, just comparing your brand to other people's and what they have going on, which is so hard. But I do think that's one reason why it's important to have healthy business connections, because you see it more of collaboration. I see business collaboration over business competition.
There you go, right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have grown so much.
It makes business better.
Yes.
Because at this point, I could help somebody with social media, but they are missing a website called Kalian.
Exactly. I have grown so much since establishing a strong business network and connection. It has been so helpful. Just establishing that, like you said, you can refer people and then people will refer people to you. And you're always learning and growing, and well, can you do this? And they might stretch you, just to see if you can do this. So it's very helpful, and it keeps you from comparing, because you realize that there's worth and value in what we're all doing. And there's room for everyone
at the table.
Yeah. That is so good. I haven't seen any questions yet. I haven't seen any questions yet, but we will take a moment just to see if you have any questions. We got started a few minutes late, but we're good on time. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments and we will answer those. Okay, Lily Williams said, congratulations on your certification. Yep. Think global. Is Pinterest hard to maintain?
Honestly, no. It's fairly easy. Again, with Kalian adding that great free feature from Canva, you can really go ahead and schedule it right from your phone. The way I use it was actually for my blog. I would put a picture, I would tag the link to the blog, And so when they click on the picture, it takes them right to my blog. So it was always a redirect, and making sure you put hashtags there. But honestly, it kind of puts you in the mind of Instagram to make it to kind of give you a comparison.
Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't say that it's hard at all. Canva actually has Pinterest templates.
Yes.
So you can go ahead and edit it with whatever. You can use the same template. It's completely up to you. And there's so many pins. I don't think anyone is judging anyone's pin. So, and then it helps with organization. You have different boards. So it's really easy to navigate. I know for me. And if you're already posting on Instagram and Facebook, just make sure you don't even have to create a new graphic. You could just use the same graphic that you're using. Yeah. So if you have a cycle of posting on Instagram and Facebook, go ahead and go over to Pinterest and post that same thing. You can use the same caption, same hashtags, and link it to your website or link it to a landing page somewhere that people can best find everything that you have to offer. Because even if that's not something that they're interested in, whatever you pinned, they'll see, oh, they have something else that they're offering and they might want that. But overall, Pinterest, it's not, it is not difficult.
Now it does take strategy to be consistent with it, but that's another.
Yes, absolutely. But you do have a lot of exposure. A lot of people use Pinterest every day. So I would definitely encourage you to use Pinterest.
For sure.
Let's see. Yep, they would definitely go to your website. Yeah, every time.
Every time.
Yes, I'm working on scheduling and consistency.
Good. Good.
Okay. I don't think there are any other questions. Did you have any lasting thoughts, Bree?
I just thank everybody for tuning in. I hope something was said to encourage your business. And we just want to give you the basics. But if you guys want to see us back, let us know in the comments because we can come back with some more. But I just appreciate the opportunity. It's been fun. And just continue to grow. Yeah, that's all we're doing. We're having a growth conversation. So as long as you continue to grow, assess yourself, take our tips, take our journey, utilize what you heard, I'm telling you, it's going to help you in magnitudes. You're going to grow.
Yeah, and if there's anything, maybe tips that have helped you or platforms, apps, different things that have helped you, please put those in the comments for those that may go back and watch so that they can see, this is not all exhaustive at all. We're growing. Again, this is a growth thing. So we want everyone to be able to put in their input. And we do have an announcement. Speaking of social media, you want to announce it or you want me to announce it?
You got it.
Okay. So we have a social media challenge for the month of November that we will actually be posting on Monday, this upcoming Monday. So make sure that you mark your calendars or like one of our pages or both of the pages. So then you can be updated whenever we post it. But we have a November social media challenge and it will encourage you to be consistent with posting. And the main thing is to tell your brand story.
Yes.
So it's incorporating some of the things that we talked about today, but also highlighting the story behind your brand and who you are. And you'll see more about that when we post it, but it'll be a day for every day in the month of November. And I think we decided every Tuesday, whenever you post, make sure that you tag another entrepreneur so they can either get in on the challenge or see what you have to offer. So there'll be different prompts for you to use, and it'll be the hashtag my brand story. So every day that you post, even if you're not consistent at first, it's okay. Whenever you do post, make sure that you hashtag my brand story, tag at BGNP LLC and at Streamline Media Agency. And those instructions will also be on the graphic for the challenge. But make sure that you do that so we can interact with you and also share your posts. Because again, we want everyone to grow. But that's our big announcement. We have a social media challenge for the month of November. Hashtag my brand story. And we hope that you can participate and be a part of that.
Yes.
Let's see. Lily says Bree is an excellent person to work with.
Thank you, Miss Lily.
Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. And again, we'll have different links and things in the comments for you to take part of. And once we post the social media challenge, I think I will also post it in the comments of this live. So make sure if you enjoyed this live, please share it with someone that maybe is just starting out with their brand, thinking about rebranding, or maybe just needs a refresher, just needs a reminder that they are on the right track.
Yeah.
Make sure that you share this with them. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you have, like Bree said, any topics that you want us to cover, any lasting questions, we would definitely come back on and answer those or talk about a different topic, because branding is so broad. So we try to just kind of touch on a little bit, but we can definitely go more in depth if that's what you need. So just stay connected with us. And thank you so much again for joining us. Bye.